Hello, I'm Bruce DuPois. Coming up today on News Talk, how much training should your gym instructor be required to have? The D.C. Council is considering legislation that would increase the educational requirement significantly. Critics warn that consumers would be hurt and not helped by this legislation. We'll talk with Glassman. He's founder and CEO of the CrossFit training chain. Then, Boston says no to the Olympic Games, and they are not alone. Increasingly, cities around the globe have decided the Games are a bad bet, not worth the investment, and the likely massive cost overruns. We will talk with Washington Post reporter Adam Kilgore.
From News Channel 8, this is News Talk with Bruce DuPois.
Good to have you with us as we wrap up the week. Welcome in on this Friday. Great to have you here. How much training should a gym instructor be required to have? Who should be allowed to call themselves a personal trainer? These are questions that D.C. Council will soon be wrestling with. A bill now pending before the panel at City Hall would boost the educational requirements for gym instructors significantly. Glassman is founder and CEO of CrossFit, a nationwide chain with a presence here in the area. He joins us now. Welcome. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you, Bruce.
You're part of a group. Folks in your industry have banded together, I guess you could say, to push back against this proposed legislation.
Competitors that we've trounced in the marketplace have pushed for this. And it doesn't increase the standards. Far from it. What it would do potentially is replace a training certification program where people are trained, their movement is observed, they're shown how to train, how to get someone else to move. We watch that and take them through that process. That could all be replaced with a multiple choice test, and we don't think that's adequate. But we also don't want to see our marketplace opponents get a leg up through legislation, accomplished through legislation what they couldn't otherwise.
Talk about the status quo. To be a gym instructor now, to be a personal trainer now, what must one have? Well,
if you were to come up through the ranks of our opponents, you need to take a multiple choice test. It takes about an hour, and then you can do anything you want. There's no requirements for liability insurance. There's no restrictions on the kind of facility you run. It's a kind of the Wild West. We run a very different kind of show.
Are you in favor of the legislation?
We'd have to see what it looks like first. It's being crafted, is the truth of it, and the regulations have to be determined. But we want to be there when it happens. It's important. We're a DC-based firm. We're the world's leader in fitness. We've got 13,000 gyms around the world, and we open a new one every 2 hours and 24 minutes. And while we've been out training people, they've been crafting legislation. And let's see what it looks like. We're watching, and we had a fantastic meetings with the City Council and with the Deputy Mayor for Health. And I'm convinced that the district is going to do the right thing. So this has been a great trip.
Is more education better? Should there be a high bar?
I don't know if it's a matter of education, Bruce, but
training, certification, knowledge.
Training is the key. We're the only people in the fitness certification business that offer training. And for instance, I don't think you should be able to license yourself as a dentist if you haven't looked inside a mouth, right? And you can currently. We're the only training certification program that trains trainers. We don't just test them. We do test them. We got a test too, and it's multiple choice. You know, we do that, and so do they. But we train people how to train, and they don't. And I wouldn't want that to be lost.
So, how much difference of opinion is there? And it sounds like there's a fair amount. How much difference of opinion is there across the spectrum of gyms and training centers and personal fitness gyms and things of this nature?
There's an enormous difference in methodology. I mean, you can even just drive by and see the difference between a CrossFit gym and a regular gym. The difference is profound. We're almost the antitheses of everything that's out there in the commercial model. But we require liability insurance of our affiliates. we're concerned about what they do and how they operate, and we're unique in that regard.
How much training do you think is the minimum in terms of hours? Take us through what anyone going out there in the marketplace, and whether it's one of the more big barn type of gyms, whether it's something where you're getting much more individualized or a very small group, how do we feel confident that the person who's guiding us knows what they're doing?
Well, you know, it might be a tough call, but we require 16 hours of practicum where you're being trained and watched training and evaluated, and we have a test. Our competition has a test, and so whatever the deficiencies may be in the 16 hours, it's a very, very important 16 hours. And I'll offer this: I think it's the most important 16 hours that a person could spend in a classroom.
Be a little more specific, though, if you would. What types of things does a good trainer know? What, I mean, it seems to me the key is you want to help people get results. So you want to be able to impart to a wide range. You know, you've got people in the public coming in. Some are pretty athletic. They've got, they're in good shape, but they want to get better.
Yeah.
You have people who haven't been in a gym in 20 years and have had one of those aha moments where they want to get fit again. You've got people of all ages. You've got people of all skill levels. You've got people who want to lose weight. You have people who are training for marathons. So we're talking about a wide range of people, right?
Yes, you're describing my market perfectly.
Sure.
Yes.
So take us into some detail, if you would. I think this is an important issue in terms of who can just say, I'm a trainer, I'm a gym instructor. The public wants to have confidence in the people they're spending their time with and spending their money on.
Agreed.
So talk to us about that.
So I think that if you're going to be a trainer and you want to get a training certification, it's important that you be shown how to train. And that's really the fundamental difference here. Our opponents, our competitors, are of the view that all you have to do is take a multiple choice test. And we don't think that's enough. That's the fundamental difference. I don't think you should be a physical therapist if you haven't touched a patient. I don't think you should be a surgeon if you haven't had the opportunity to cut on people, right? It's that simple, Bruce. Mm-hmm. It's really not a complicated issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How are cities, since you have a national footprint, how are cities around the country, to what extent are other cities or states grappling with this requirement issue?
They're not. This is the first jurisdiction that we know of globally, certainly the first, for sure the first in the United States to regulate fitness training.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's never been done before.
What is fueling the growth of CrossFit?
It's results only. Yeah, that's it. Pure and simple.
So people come to you and they feel like they're reaching their goals.
Millions of them, obviously, yeah. I mean, we open a new gym every 2 hours and 24 minutes somewhere in the world. It's a global phenomenon, too. Only half of the gyms are in the U.S. Of the 13,000, 6,700 are in the U.S.
What makes CrossFit distinct from some of the brands who may have come before you in terms of approach, philosophy?
My grandfather was in tech. Both of my parents worked in tech. We're in the shadow of the Silicon Valley, and what we did was took the rudiments of science, the scientific method, fundamental things like defining terms, giving definitions to things that would be amenable to accurate and precise estimation. We grounded fitness, we grounded human performance in kinematics, and doing that allowed us force, distance, and time, basic physics, basic science. And what we did is we gave fitness a scientific grounding. We gave it the first definition in an essay that's seen 100 million downloads, and it's been truly a revolution. But what we did is we tried to match a stimulus that would give an adaptation that would suit your genetic needs. Our competitors weren't doing that.
How did the name CrossFit come about? How does it link to what you do?
I was watching people do triathlons, and it was being referred to as cross training. And it really isn't. It's 3 long-distance events, and that's not enough to be cross-training. And so we thought, well, there's a fitness that comes out of what would be a true cross training, and the CrossFit notion was born that way.
Can you take us through some of the fundamentals of what makes CrossFit different without revealing corporate secrets, without giving away the Coca-Cola formula?
Yeah, we gave away the secret to the sauce on launching the website 15 years ago. There's nothing we do that you can't pull from the net from our website. And so it's all there. But the basics, again, are that we've grounded the fitness, human performance, in kinematics, using force, distance, and time.
Okay,
and those are critical variables. How far did it go? How long did it take? And what did it weigh? And when we do that, we can resolve your output, your capacity, in a way that has some scientific meaning, has some validity to it.
Are you part of the evolution away from those big stacks of weights that all of us saw in gyms in the 80s and 90s and maybe into the 2000s, and toward kettlebells, lifting body weight, things of that nature?
We are that revolution. If it weren't for us, everyone would be in the gym doing the lateral raises and curls on the machines.
Those machines are great for a sort of a microscopic part of the body, right? They do not get the core involved, and they don't have broad benefit.
Bruce, they're only better than doing nothing, which is great. But it's there's no population that needs to be put on machines.
Getting away from the machines. Talking with Greg Glassman, founder and CEO of CrossFit. We'll take a quick break here. Back with more right after this. Welcome back to News Talk. Coming up for you later in the hour, an emerging trend. Cities turning their back on the Olympics, deciding the return is not worth the considerable and unpredictable investment. Adam Kilgore of the Washington Post joining us with that at the bottom of the hour. Right now, though, let's get back to our conversation with Greg Glassman, founder and CEO of CrossFit. Phone lines open if you have fitness questions for Greg. Our number here, as always, 703-387-1020. Those of you watching in the 10 o'clock hour can join the conversation. Again, if you have a question about getting fit, about taking your fitness regimen to the next level, we'd love to have you join the conversation here on this Friday on News Talk. To the phones we'll go as your calls come in. Again, our number, 703-387-1020. A lot of people are deciding that the gym where they do it themselves is not going to be as productive from a results standpoint as if they can afford it, that small group and individual training experience. In this area, we have certainly seen an explosion in the boutique gym experience.
Yeah. We have 22 gyms in the district, and D.C. in the metropolitan area is our highest concentration of gyms in the world. So I know the market well. Yeah, that definitely is the trend. Big box being replaced with the little one. Our gyms are owner-operated and controlled, and that's very important. These gyms will stand a 95% 5-year survival rate. We're very proud of that. It's a wonderful thing to be able to make a good living having such a profound impact on people's lives.
If you're working out on your own, the chances of you getting stuck in a rut, not having enough variety in the exercises you do, overworking some body parts and not working others, the odds of all of that goes up significantly. Whereas if you're working with a trainer, that notion of variety can come in, of moving around, so to speak, so that it's not just you're doing shoulders, you're doing different aspect of the shoulder as you move through your program.
I wish trainers were that important, but it wouldn't be true. Bruce, what matters is the methodology more than who's standing there or who you're paying or what your certification is. And the reality is that functional movement, as we've defined it, is where the results come from. And we've got some views on nutrition that fly in the face of what's been commercially pushed for a long time. No, methodology matters most of all. And all of these concerns would be secondary to that. And this tug-of-war, this struggle between our vanquished competitors in CrossFit is really one of methodology and the underlying support for the methodology, where that comes from. That's the real story.
What do you think happens as the D.C. Council gets deeper into its consideration of this legislation that looks at how much training should be sort of mandated?
We've met with the city council members and we've met with the deputy mayor for health, and their interests are wonderfully aligned with mine. I think all of us want what's best for the constituents of the district.
Is there a risk that people who are out there providing a service now will not meet the new standard, and that we'll see a change in terms of how many people are available to help customers meet their goals?
I don't think so. I don't have, we're watching, right? I'm speculating on some regulations that haven't been finalized. So we'll see. But we're here, we're in this space, and I've met with the elected officials, and I think all is well in D.C.
To the phones, line 1, George in Landover, you're on the air. Thanks for calling in. Go right ahead, please.
Yes, I have what you call hip surgery in the left hip and the right hip, and I would like to know what kind of exercise would be best for that.
How recently did you have the surgery?
Okay, one I had back in '89.
Oh, okay.
And then the other one I had in '94.
So it's been some time. How do you feel? How are you doing?
Well, the one on the left side is doing pretty good, but the one that's really giving me a problem is on the right side.
All right, George, stay on the line for a second. Greg, what do you recommend for someone like George who's had surgery on both hips?
Yeah, if he's having problems, George needs to go back to his doctor. Yeah.
Is there a...
I don't do medical diagnosis
I understand.
in person. Yeah. I certainly won't do one over the phone.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah. I understand. Yeah. All right, well, George...
I think my competitors would say he's not drinking enough soda.
What does that mean?
Well, it's where the organizations that are pushing so hard against us, they're backing.
Is the soda industry?
The NSCA and the ACSM, the 501c3s that are controlled by Soda Pop.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's amazing.
George, good luck, and thank you very much for your call.
Good luck, George.
Making good decisions about diet is an area where probably all of us, close to all of us, struggle. Sometimes you can adopt good patterns and good habits for a short term, but sustaining that is hard. Do you work with people? Is that part of the focus, the thrust? Adopting smart and healthy diet and food decisions for the duration?
Yeah, absolutely. But the devil's in the details. Everyone calls their diet a healthy diet, and they vary tremendously in terms of their structure, and their physiological impact. And I'll just tell you, we believe in balanced nutrition, much like your grandmother may have. And what I mean by that is that roughly the macronutrients are equal in composition. That the carbohydrates, more broccoli, less soda, right? Fat's not the boogeyman, and protein's essential. And this is a revolutionary position. The pushback has been unbelievable. Everywhere except in the marketplace.
Wow. Is your growth trajectory, is your expansion over time something that you expect to see continue?
I really don't have any expectations. I'm a process guy, not an endpoint guy. I went to Harvard Business School and found out we may be the fastest growing chain in history. None of that was planned. None of it's projected. We did this without a business plan. We're not a business in the traditional sense. What we did is we told the truth about fitness and health, about exercise, about nutrition in the free market space. And that's all this is.
Interesting. Greg Glassman, founder and CEO of CrossFit. We'll be following this issue. I know you will be too. Thank you very much for your time. Good having you with us. We'll get you caught up on the hour's top stories and the forecast when we return. And then, are the Olympics a bad bet? We'll talk about what some are calling a crisis moment for the International Olympic Committee.